Wondering what light novels are most popular in Japan? Well, we're about to take a look at which light novels were in the top 10 in Japan for the week of June 21st to the 27th of 2021. Hi everybody, I'm Justus R. Stone, and I do this countdown every single week of the top 10 best-selling individual volumes as well as the top 10 best-selling series. This, as I said, is for the week of June 21st to the 27th. For the top 10 individual volumes, I do take a look at both the light novel work, paperback, and literary book lists from the Oricon website, and that's where all of these sales come from. If you want to check out any of the titles, I do have the romanization as well as the kanji as well as the sales numbers in the description down below. So, let's see what was most popular in Japan for that week, starting at number 10 for the individual volumes with 4,282 copies sold. It's a brand new series called A Happy Life with Blessings in a Different World Full of Fluff. Keita Kisaragi, a Japanese elementary school student, unfortunately breathed his last due to illness. The next thing he knew, a goddess appeared in front of him and informed him that his life was cut short due to another god's mistake. As an apology, Keita receives a blessing and is reincarnated as Jordy, the second son of a marquis in another world. Jordy's best friend is his father's partner, the Black Panther Rory. Although they don't speak the same language, they live a happy and peaceful life with Rory, who takes care of them whenever they need anything. One day, the whole family decides to go to their grandparents' house to celebrate Jordy turning 1 year old. Jordy is excited to go out for the first time, but on the trip, a big incident and an encounter with more fluffies are waiting for him. Now, obviously this is a brand new series. However, I did a little look, and apparently this author has had some fairly popular web novels. They all seem to revolve around fluffy animals and characters and their interactions with fluffy animals. I believe that the term that they use is mofu in Japan, which basically it kind of means it's described to mean something soft, light, and fluffy, especially for small animals. So that kind of, I guess, gives you an idea of the vibe of this one. At number 9 with 5,410 copies sold, it's volume 15 of How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom. Oh, hero! With that cliched line, Kazuya Soma found himself summoned to another world, and his adventure did not begin. After he presents his plan to strengthen the country economically and militarily, the king cedes the throne to him, and Soma finds himself saddled with ruling the nation. What's more, he's betrothed to the king's daughter now. In order to get the country back on its feet, Soma calls the wise, the talented, and the gifted to his side. 5 people gather before the newly crowned Soma. Just what are the many talents and abilities they possess? What path will his outlook as a realist take Soma and the people of his country down? A revolutionary transferred to another world administrative fantasy series starts here. Now, we do have this one officially licensed in English from J Novel Club, and the anime for this series is just starting now. It's a summer 2021 anime. This one is a pretty cool series, actually. We covered this one in the Light Novel podcast. We covered the first, I think, 3 or 4 volumes of it. Yeah, better than average, honestly, and certainly one of J Novel Club's pretty popular titles as well. At number 8, with 5,995 copies sold, it's the novelization of the upcoming film, Belle. This one written by the director himself, Mamoru Hosoda. Suzu, a 17-year-old high school student living in a rural village with her father. For years, she has only been a shadow of herself. One day, Suzu enters You, a virtual world of 5 billion online members, and she becomes Belle, a world-famous singer. Belle soon meets with a mysterious creature, with whom she embarks on a journey of adventures and love. in their quest of becoming who they truly are. So this one was on the list, of course, last week. The film looks pretty cool, actually, and Mamoru Hosoda is a well-regarded filmmaker of animated films in Japan. You should really just check him out. There's a whole bunch of titles you'll probably recognize, not only because the movies themselves are well-known, but we've also had a number of their previous novelizations licensed in English as well. This one, not licensed yet, but I bet you if the movie does well, we could very well see it happen. At number 7, with 6,071 copies sold, volume number 19 of Akashic Records of Bastard Magic Instructor. The Alzano Empire is home to one of the most distinguished magic schools in the world, the Alzano Imperial Magic Academy. Here, ambitious young students undergo training to become competent magicians. Sistine Fievel, a stern noble girl, and her bright-eyed best friend, Rumia Tinkle, attend the academy, determined to cultivate their magical skills. However, their world is thrown for a loop when their favorite teacher suddenly retires, and the enigmatic Glenn Radars replaces him. His lazy and indifferent attitude toward life and magic quickly puts him at odds with his class. What's more, nefarious forces hidden within the Empire's walls start to become active, and Sistine, Rumia, and Glenn find themselves caught up in their schemes. Roku Denashi Manjutsu Koshi to Akashic Records follows Sistine, who is captivated by a mysterious floating sky castle, Rumia, who is haunted by a troubled past, and Glenn, who may be more than meets the eye. Though completely different on the surface, they are inexplicably bound together by a thread of fate. So again, this one on the list last week. This one's had a anime adaptation. We do have the manga officially releasing in English from Seven Seas, but this is a light novel series that we have yet to have licensed. At number 6, with 7,391 copies sold, volume 24 of In Another World with My Smartphone. After a freak accident involving some lightning winds up zapping him dead, 15-year-old Mochizuki Toya wakes up to find himself face to face with God. I am afraid to say that I have made a bit of a blunder, laments the old coot. But all is not lost. God says that he can reincarnate Toya into a world of fantasy, and as a bonus, he gets to bring his smartphone along with. So begins Toya's adventure in a new, anachronistic, pseudo-medieval world. Friends, laughs, tears, inexplicable deus ex machina. He sets off on a journey full of wonder as he absent-mindedly travels from place to place, following whatever goal catches his fancy. The curtain lifts on an epic tale of swords, sorcery, and smartphone apps. Now, again, this is another J-Novel Club license that we have for English release. They're pretty much caught up. I think they're only maybe a volume behind, if that. They may be just waiting on this one to come out. So yeah, they're pretty much caught up with this series. And of course, it did have an anime, only a single season so far. But yeah, it continues to be pretty popular. At number 5, with 8,023 copies sold, volume number 8 of Sword Art Online Progressive. 1 month after Akihiko Kayaba's Game of Death began, the death toll continues to rise. 2,000 players having already lost their lives to the ultra-difficult VR MMO world of Sword Art Online. On the day of the strategy meeting to plan out the first floor boss battle, Kirito, a solo player who vows to fight alone to get stronger, runs into a rare, high-level female player. She gracefully dispatches powerful monsters with a single rapier that flashes like a shooting star in the night. So, hey, look at that. Sword Art Online only lasted 2 weeks at the number 1 spot. Man, when you see the sales for the number 1 volume this week, like, wow. Like, I mean, Sword Art makes bank, but wow, we'll talk about that one soon. In any case, obviously, this is the spin-off retelling of the Einkrad story. There's going to be a film coming out shortly, because even though we've had the Einkrad arc, we just need to milk Sword Art Online for all the dollars it's worth. At number 4, with 10,751 copies sold, Volume 35 of Aria, the Scarlet Ammo. In response to the worsening crime rate, Japan creates Tokyo Butte High, an elite academy where butte, or armed detectives, hone their deadly skills in hopes of becoming mercenary-like agents of justice. One particular butte is Kinji Toyama, an antisocial and curt sophomore dropout who was once a student of the combat-centric assault division. Kinji now lives a life of leisure, studying logistics in order to cover up his powerful but embarrassing special ability. However, his peaceful days soon come to an end when he becomes the target of the infamous butte killer and runs into an emotional hurricane and outspoken prodigy of the highest rank, Aria Holmes Kanzaki, who saves Kinji's life and demands that he become her partner after seeing what he is truly capable of. So, at Volume 35, I mean, this is a obviously long-running series, and weird enough, there was a company that licensed it for English release, and I think only released maybe 2 or 3 volumes, digital only, and then seems to have gone belly up or disappeared or rebranded. I have no idea. Anyway, it seems that this series is stuck in licensing limbo hell, and it may very well never be saved. And to be honest, with it having 35 volumes, that's going to be a pretty tall order, I think, for any company to pony up the money to license that and sort of be willing to take that on for the long term. But who knows? Stranger things have happened. At number 3, with 11,048 copies sold, Volume 16 of Tsukimichi, Moonlit Fantasy. The fantasy centers around Makoto Misumi, an ordinary high school boy summoned to an alternate world as a brave warrior. Unfortunately, the goddess of the world said with disdain, "Your face is ugly," stripped him of his title and banished him to the outermost fringes of the wilderness. While wandering the wilderness, Makoto encountered dragons, spiders, orcs, dwarves, and all sorts of other non-human species. Due to differences in the environment from his homeworld, Makoto now exhibits extraordinary powers in magic and combat. Thus, he survives in this world while dealing with various encounters. The curtain rises on the alternate world social reform fantasy of a boy forsaken by gods and humans. So obviously this is a pretty popular series in general. However, this one is another light novel series that is getting an anime adaptation this very season of summer 2021. So yeah, I mean, obviously I think, well, I mean, given that this is volume 16, I think the sales are just because the series itself is popular. It wouldn't surprise me if the anime is well received, if we see this one hover into the top 10 series list and remain there for a little while. That seems to kind of be the course for series that have successful anime adaptations, but I guess we'll just sort of see how the series is received and see how it goes from there. At number 2, with 16,165 copies sold, Volume 27 of ReZero, Starting Life in Another World. Subaru Natsuki was just trying to get to the convenience store, but wound up summoned to another world. He encounters the usual things, life-threatening situations, silver-haired beauties, cat fairies, normal stuff. All that would be bad enough, but he's also gained the most inconvenient magical ability of all time travel. But he's got to die to use it. How do you repay someone who saved your life when all you can do is die? Wow, I kind of butchered that reading. Anyway, it's ReZero. I mean, we have this one in English from Yenon. I'm pretty sure everybody's fairly familiar with this one after it's had some fairly successful seasons of anime. It's just been a popular series for a long time, and for pretty good reason. I obviously haven't read the whole series, but the first 7 or 8 that I read, I thought were very well done, and one of the better written overall light novels as well. And at number 1, and I prepared you guys for this, with 43,764 copies sold. It's volume 4.5, so it's not even like an actual like main volume, it's a side volume. And that is Classroom of the Elite, Second Year. The cutthroat school drama light novels that inspired an anime. Students of the prestigious Tokyo Metropolitan Advanced Nurturing High School are given remarkable freedom if they can win, barter, or save enough points to work their way up the ranks. Ayanokoji Kiyotaka has landed at the bottom in the scorned Class D, where he meets Horikita Suzune, who's determined to rise up the ladder to Class A. Can they beat the system in a school where cutthroat competition is the name of the game? Now that's a synopsis for, of course, the main series, Classroom of the Elite, which we do have in English from 7 Seas. Now, this is the second year, so it's technically like a new series. It's not a new series. I mean, we've seen other series do this where they get so many volumes and then they decide to rename it slightly. So like whether it be second year, whether it be Gaiden, whether it be whatever. So basically this is just like the ongoing story. I mean, Index has been doing this for a long time too, right? So this is obviously Classroom of the Elite. It's now all the characters have moved into their second year, and this continues to follow their adventures. I'm pretty sure that we're going to get all of Classroom of the Elite in English. I imagine that this one is going to have to be licensed separately, but I'm pretty sure that 7 Seas will probably do whatever they can to hold on to it, and even if they don't, I'm betting somebody else will pick it up. Okay, so those are the top 10 individual volumes. Now to talk about the top 10 series of the week. Starting at number 10, The Detective is Already Dead. You will be my assistant. During a plane hijacking 4 years ago, Kimitsuka Kimihiko wound up becoming the assistant to a beautiful detective named Siesta. The pair traveled the world, solving crimes and battling criminal organizations. Until Siesta died, anyway. Kimitsuka thought that would spell the end of his adventures and a return to ordinary life. But an encounter with a girl who bears an uncanny resemblance to Siesta suggests that fate has other plans. Now this one is released officially in English by Yenon. They've only put out the first volume so far, and again, this is another series that is having an anime adaptation premiere this season, summer 2021. So, I mean, I think the series is doing pretty well in general, but I imagine we're going to continue to see this hovering in this top 10 series list, especially depending on how well the anime is received. I know the premiere, I believe, is happening this weekend, and it's an hour long. And as far as I understand it, that hour-long episode isn't like episode 1 and 2 just being shown back to back. It's actually like gonna be a full 12 or 13 episodes, but episode 1 is a double or almost triple length episode. So we'll see how it goes. I actually just started reading this book, and so far it's a little different than what I had imagined, but still pretty cool. At number 9, That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Living alone and never having had a girlfriend, 37-year-old Satoru Mikami is dissatisfied with how his life has turned out. But after dying at the hands of a robber, he awakens to a fresh start in a new world as a slime monster. We've talked about this one a ton of times because it's continued to be in the top 10 series for a considerable amount of time, which, given the fact that they keep pumping out anime of this series, and the anime seems pretty well received, again, not very surprising. There's a couple of series on here, obviously, like Detective is Already Dead, or Slime. There'll be a few others that I'll talk about that you can tell are obviously getting boosts because of anime series, and will probably continue to do so as well. At number 8, In Another World with My Smartphone. Now, obviously, this one's being really driven by those big sales for its most recent volume. At number 7, Sword Art Online. Again, no big surprise here. You knew Sword Art was probably going to be on here. I mean, even though the volume progressive has dropped from the number 1 spot, it's still right in the middle of the list, so its sales are still quite decent. At number 6, The Apothecary Diaries. In the east is a land ruled by an emperor whose consorts and serving women live in a sprawling complex known as the Hogong, the Rear Palace. Mao Mao, an unassuming girl raised in an unassuming town by her apothecary father, never imagined the Rear Palace would have anything to do with her, until she was kidnapped and sold into service there. Though she looks ordinary, Mao Mao has a quick wit, a sharp mind, and an extensive knowledge of medicine. That's her secret, until she encounters a resident of the palace at least as perceptive as she is, the head eunuch Jinshi. He sees through Mao Mao's facade and makes her a lady-in-waiting to none other than the emperor's favorite consort, so she can taste the lady's food for poison. At her lady's side, Mao Mao starts to learn about everything that goes on in the Rear Palace, not all of it seemly. Can she ever lead a quiet life, or will her powers of deduction and insatiable curiosity bring her ever more adventures and ever more dangers? So, get used to it. I'm pretty sure we're going to be talking about this series in the top 10 series for a while. Again, you know, a series that there's all sorts of rumor. Like, I saw a rumor online that supposedly this was it getting an anime was like a done deal, but I haven't actually seen any honest to goodness official announcements that we can count on. But it's got to be just a matter of time. Like, I can't imagine that we're going to go much longer without this getting an anime adaptation, especially when, even without an anime adaptation, it is spending weeks upon weeks in the top 10 series and strong, not like just hovering at that number 10 spot, but like, you know, top 5, this week just 6, but still solid. At number 5, Aria, the Scarlet Ammo. At number 4, Tsukimichi, Moonlit Fantasy. At number 3, 86. So like I said, again, another series that obviously is benefiting from a well-received anime adaptation. The San Magnolia Republic has long been under attack by unmanned weapons from the neighboring empire. Against this onslaught, the Republic has also deployed similar weapons, narrowly avoiding great loss of life and impending disaster. Or at least, that's how it seemed. The truth is that it has never been possible to have no casualties. Young men and women drawn from the Republic's supposedly non-existent 86th District are organized into the 86 Unit, and then ordered to pilot the, quote, unmanned weapons before heading to battle. So like I said, definitely benefiting from the anime series and how well it was received. Really decent series, but again, like, you know, sitting there at the number 3 spot. So overall, I would say that you're seeing this as sort of a series that isn't just doing well because of its most recent volume, but doing well because lots of people are kind of picking up the entire series. At number 2, and not a big surprise given the strength of its single volume sales of its most recent volume, ReZero, Starting Life in Another World. And finally at number 1, and it will shock absolutely nobody, Classroom of the Elite, second year. Well, it's not even second year. They just, on Oricon's website, they just say Classroom of the Elite. I'm still a little puzzled with how Oricon figures out these top series. Because if you actually go to the website and you click on the top series list and then you click on a specific title, it shows you like all of the various books that are associated with the series, like manga adaptations, various light novels, even if it's, you know, Classroom of the Elite series 1, second year. So I'm really not too sure how they calculate that all out, and obviously because I don't read Japanese, I probably won't figure it out unless anybody listening to this recording this video wants to let me know in the comments down below. In any case, those are the top 10 best-selling individual volumes and best-selling series in Japan for June 21st to the 27th of 2021. What are your thoughts? Any of these you already really enjoy? Any that you're looking forward to? Any that you hope that we might eventually get in English that we don't currently have in English? Let me know in those comments down below. In the meantime, thank you so much for checking out this video. Make sure you hit a like and, subscribe and all that cool stuff that lets YouTube know that these videos are okay. In the meantime, thanks for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Till then, bye-bye for now.